Hey guys, this is Mike. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys a VOD review of GE Tigers versus SK Telecom T1. This was during week 6 of OGN, day 3, or LCK. I'm always going to refer to it as OGN. So a little bit of context. This is the final match, or maybe not so much the final, but it's the final day of the first half of OGN. So GE up to this point are undefeated. SKT are in 4th place, I want to say. They may be in 3rd. Memory not doing super well right now about the placements at this point in the season. But anyways, GE Tigers won game 1 against SKT. You can see the compositions right here and the last spans for the last game. Gorilla's Veigar support play was extremely good. The zoning provided by him against like the Gnar pick and Lucian from getting in to the Xerath, and then combined with the Mundo's late game scaling, pretty decisive win for GE. What's important about this game is that this game is the second one that GE will have lost during OGN the entire season. They haven't lost a set. They will continue to not lose a set, but this is a game that they will take off. Now, generally it was kind of coincided because they gave Faker LeBlanc. And while Faker on LeBlanc is completely undefeated, like, that's not the only reason that GE lost. Like, it's important to kind of note that yes, they gave Faker LeBlanc, and that's a massive part in why they lost, but it's not completely the only reason that they lost. So we're gonna start it here. Let's see. There we go. I need that. Dang it, a super play. Okay, we're gonna just kind of. Oh, that's right. We're just gonna skip through the bans a little bit. I'll go over them. Okay. So ban wise, we have the Ari, Ezreal, Lissandra, Janna, Lulu, Veigar. Okay. So Janna and Lulu are really good for GE's kite compositions. The Lulu also helps ban out the Juggernaut comp against GE Tigers. And the Veigar ban is more because SKT aren't familiar with the Veigar support pick, as you can see in their first game against GE. So they banned that. Ari ban, it works like if GE is not going to pick it up, which they're not going to pick it up. Faker's Ari is really good. It does really well to counteract GE's kite compositions. Same thing with Ezreal. SKT lost game 1 with mid Ezreal, but even so, Faker's really known for his mid Ezreal play, and that also kind of plays against GE's kite compositional style. And then the Lissandra ban, if you have no intent of first picking Lissandra on blue side, you kind of have to ban that. And plus, again, it's another thing that does high impact against GE's kite compositional play that they like to do. So I'm going to keep going with this. Just skip through. Okay. So GE first pick Kassadin. Kassadin is a strong pick for Kuro. It's also a flex pick between Kuro and Smeb. So it gives SKT a little indecision as to where it's going. They respond with Marin and Bengi, and not Bengi. They already have Bengi. They respond with Gnar and Corki. Marin hasn't really showed up on Gnar a lot this season. It's not really a great strong pick of his. Even so, they played it their first game. It kind of does well if you can get it into that back line of GE's like GE's compositions and whatnot. It can be really strong. The Corki pick, Bang, his most played has been Corki. Prey's most played has been Corki. So they're both two really strong Corki 80 carries in this game. So definitely picking that up first round for SKT is important. The Rumble and Jarvan pickups from GE, so it kind of shows GE hand. They really want to be more about this team fight sort of comp. Not so much their usual kite compositions. This was really focused on getting dragons and strong team fight. The Rumble and Jarvan pickup synergize pretty well because the Equalizer and Jarvan ult can do really well against most compositions. Now, they do show where their AD carry and mid laner are going. I'm not sure I completely agree with picking the Rumble here, especially since SKT already have their top laner. They could have picked the Morgana. Granted, Morgana is a good response to Thresh, so I don't know, maybe Kalista. Then, like, it's debatable on how that pick ban went, that they could switch the Rumble into third rotation or not. SKT respond with the Nunu Thresh. Bangi is one of the only Nunu players right now in OGN. It's a champ that fits his style really well. Warding, supporting. He's not really much of a playmaker, although he can be a playmaker, unlike Lee Sin, but that's about it. Thresh, Peekaboo is known as the original roaming Thresh. This pick is very strong for Peekaboo. Also, at this point, GE have shown that they're not taking LeBlanc, and they left it up. So the Thresh pick really synergizes with LeBlanc, which SKT, like, you can just tell that they're going to pick LeBlanc. But it synergizes really well with LeBlanc because it can roam to mid lane and the Thresh can make plays, get hooks, make picks, along with the LeBlanc. GE Prey has been playing Kalista. Morgana is a really strong counter pick to Thresh in that the Black Shield during laning. You can also try and use it to kind of help out people who are getting bursted down by LeBlanc, although we'll see later that doesn't actually matter. And then SKT rounded out with the LeBlanc pickup, which is not surprising at all considering Faker's amazing record on that champion, which is it 18-0? No, it might be just 11-0, 10-0, something like that. It's one of those three numbers. He's got a massive amount of experience and shown exceptional play on that LeBlanc pickup. Okay. So GE's composition is mainly focused about getting those team fights, getting those early dragons. It's got late game scaling with the Kassadin and the Rumble. There's a lot of magic damage on it, but it's got strong team fight overall. SKT, on the other hand, are really good about making picks. They have strong mid game. They can easily run a 1-3-1 or 4-1 split push compositional style. They also have some team fighting with the Gnar and Corki, but they really want to deny vision, get good vision control, and make picks with the Thresh and LeBlanc and transition that into objectives. So what's good to note is that Rumble against Gnar, Kassadin against LeBlanc, bot lane is about even, but the two solo lanes are in losing matchups. Which is why SKT can afford to run the Nunu pick, because their lanes should be aggressing and should have the pressure advantage. The Jarvan, on the other hand, kind of makes up for GE's weaker solo lanes. But mainly what we're going to be focusing on is how SKT use vision control and deny vision in tandem with Peekaboo roaming along with Bangi and Faker to make plays around the map and snowball their lead into their win against GE. So really, this early game isn't super interesting. There's nothing really that happens. Neither team goes for a lane swap, which is kind of surprising in GE's case, considering that they are supposed to have the losing top lane matchup, but it works out. You'll notice that Bangi does not use Smite on the Gromp. This is totally intentional because what they plan to do with the Nunu pick, they know it's starting up in the top side of the map. So what they can do is he can save his Smite, he can run into their red buff and steal it away from Lee. Now, GE, usually Kuro is a very passive mid laner. He just farms and goes for the late game, which means that Lee generally focuses on snowballing Smeb up in the top lane and being really aggressive, especially near that top lane and the bot lane to make plays. But when Bengi is able to start denying, he's able to start denying Lee and set him back, controlling the pace of how the jungle goes, and that way Marin in the top lane is less at a disadvantage. And it kind of messes up GE's game plan a little bit. Now, can skip ahead a bit. He's just going to counter jungle. Okay, so the time is about 3:20. We can see that both bot lane and top lane for GE Tigers is pushing out. Now, that's actually kind of odd in the Rumble Marin matchup, and this is where we say that Rumble Gnar, I'm going to mix that up so many times. Rumble Gnar, the thing is, like, Marin's not a great Gnar player. We know that. So it's not really surprising that he's getting pushed out in this Rumble versus Gnar matchup. But basically, Rumble is going to be being really aggressive against Marin during the early game. Smeb is a very capable top laner of doing so. And GE Tigers bot lane has pressure, and mid lane does not. Now, Lee has to be kind of forced to play around the mid lane because Kuro is in that disadvantage, especially against LeBlanc, and they know that they can't get LeBlanc snowballing. So with the side lanes pushing out, it helps Lee stay around the mid lane and put pressure so that, like, Faker doesn't go. And there's a gank onto Faker. They go after the wrong clone. It's kind of unfortunate. And with that attempted gank, you see that Kuro burns flash. That's really important because now Kuro is even in a larger disadvantage in the mid lane because he doesn't have that flash. And so Lee has to stick around the mid lane to avoid Faker just outright killing him. But because of this lane advantage, they have pressure around Bengi's red buff, and they know it's up. So here's what GE does. Okay. Is it gonna work? Oh yeah, that's right. One sec. I need to. Where is it? Exit. I don't want push right now. Okay. And this entire thing just like went to crap. Apparently. All right. Here we go. I got everything fixed. Okay. So Rumble is pushed up right now, so he can roam in this way to provide support. Kuro is right here. He's right on the edge, and Jarvan's right here. What Gorilla is going to do is they know that they want to have the pressure advantage. So Gorilla is going to start roaming and walk up all the way over here just to back up Lee and Kuro even more against Bengi. GE's total focus right now is to get control on Bengi's jungle so that they can keep up the pressure mid so that Faker can't start snowballing out of control. Yeah. So we see SKT ping out Gorilla's movements, signifying that they realize he's coming up mid. Bengi gets caught, he flashes over, he's able to get safe because Faker comes in and stops both Kuro and Lee from killing Bengi. And we see there's Gorilla, there's Rumble, all four members of GE Tigers are around Bengi's red buff. You can see after GE used this pressure and the roaming to get vision control around the... They have this ring of vision right here. And so what that allows GE to do is that allows Smeb to continue his aggressive playstyle in the top lane against Marin. And This also allows Lee to focus more on mid lane and bot lane control, because Smeb is completely safe from any gank attempts by Bengi at this point. So that's one aspect of vision control you guys need to do is depending on what lanes can be playing aggressively, what lanes cannot be playing aggressively, and which ones are kind of in the middle. You need to be controlling vision around that so you can free up your jungler to do other things. To be able to free Jason up to do other things, or have more knowledge about their jungler. So like Jeff likes to play aggressively, so we should be sending Donnie and Jason in tandem with Jeff to kind of gain vision control around Jeff's area so that he can feel free to play really aggressively and win lane. All right. Whoop. Okay. So the time is 6:05, 6 minutes. I just want to point out that Kuro right now has a flask to Faker's Codex. Kuro he's sticking around way too long in this mid lane without backing, especially since Faker was able to get that early Codex due to being forced out of lane, and so that's kind of a mistake by Kuro. Now, GE Tigers know that Bengi is going to want to visit top lane because Marin is getting pushed in so heavily. And because they already had the vision advantage, they can send Lee up top to have a possible counter gank if Bengi decides to go in with Marin. Now, however, Bengi kind of sniffs out the possible counter gank opportunity. He clears the ward in that brush, kind of knows that, oh hey, we haven't seen Lee at all, so we should not be initiating this gank. And he just walks away, which is very smart play by Bengi there. Okay, now 7 minutes. This is one aspect that I really want to point out to Donnie, Jason, and Alex. So we see that Faker is recalling right now. Peekaboo leaves lane, comes right here, and is going to start recalling as well. So both of their recalls are going to end up happening at about the same time. Bengi has already rotated to the mid lane after Faker has pushed it up, just in case he needs to cover if Kuro starts pushing it out really aggressively. Bengi's there to be able to cover the lane. He also is focusing on gaining vision control of the bottom side of mid. He takes out this ghoul thing, places the ward in that brush, and walks out. So he's trying to secure mid lane vision for Faker so that he can play very aggressively in this matchup. We see that the top lane has kind of equalized out. Also notice the lack of vision now for GE around here, and that Smeb is playing much, much safer. Marin's kind of pushing him a little more. And here's the play that I really want to emphasize. Bengi is focusing on controlling the pressure, the mid lane vision over here. Peekaboo has, in tandem with Faker, walked here, and he started securing vision for Faker around here. Now, if you look at this ward, I'll just circle it. That ward right there, GE knows Peekaboo is in the area. However, Faker makes the play onto Kuro right here. And you can see he gets the chain. Peekaboo flash, hooks, lanterns Bengi in, and Faker with the Ignite auto attack is able to get first blood onto Kuro. And in the meantime, they also burn Smeb's teleport. So not only have they gotten first blood onto Faker, but they also have the teleport advantage at this point. So I want to just recap what SKT did going into that play. Faker and Peekaboo coordinated their recalls around the same time, and Bengi started gaining control of mid lane vision. Faker and Peekaboo return to mid lane, with Peekaboo controlling the top half of vision around the mid lane, with Bengi controlling the bottom half. Faker was able to make a play onto Kuro, get that chain off, and Peekaboo was right there to flash hook in and get first blood for Faker. So there's an example of coordinating roaming time between the support, the jungle, and the mid lane to make plays around the map. You notice I was also pretty keen on, now the goal though was to create vision to make picks with that first, and then the opportunity presented itself. They weren't going, oh, we're going to make a play. They were going, oh, we're going to secure vision around here and then make the play. I just really want to emphasize that differentiation. Okay. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay. Bengi starts out around this bottom side. He's waiting here a little while. SKT have more of a normalized blue buff timer. Faker at this point has already gotten blue buff, and GE is just going for their blue buff. Now, I want to highlight this because Nunu, after helping Faker get the blue buff, he sticks around the bot side of the map instead of maybe going top. One, SKT knows that red buff is delayed, and two, they kind of have the pressure advantage now, especially with the sheen onto Corki. They ping out, so you see right now that they ping out Kuro with the blue buff, and because they see the blue buff on Kuro, they know that Lee has to be at the top side of the map. So SKT's instant reaction is to go to the dragon and secure the first dragon. They also know at this point that Smeb does not have TP while Marin does, because of the mid lane fight earlier in which Faker got first blood. So there's absolutely no possible way that GE can contest this first dragon. After that, here's another thing I want to focus. Faker recalls, and he's going to take this path to try and gank top lane and get a kill onto Smeb. Kuro is in the mid lane pushing up, so SKT communicate, and they send Peekaboo mid to stop any aggression onto this tower. Bengi is going to kind of chill over in this jungle, and what's going to happen is once Peekaboo clears the way from the tower, he's going to set off on a roaming journey. He's going to set off a roaming journey that makes sure he doesn't go through any wards. So see, look at this elongated path. It seems kind of needless, but it avoids all possible vision that GE have at the moment. And Bengi is going to come up and take mid lane so that Kuro can't push it into the tower. And we'll see how that play unfolds as we kind of move on with time. Now, with Faker missing and Peekaboo in mid lane, I'm kind of surprised that Lee doesn't completely stick around in the top half of the top side of the map. He's just going to recall, because it would have been a great counter gank opportunity. But so we see Peekaboo traveling right now through the jungle. Marin's able to get Smeb's flash, which is very crucial. Smeb's going to ult the wave. Smeb stays way too long in top lane multiple times. Peekaboo's going to come around here. He's going to get the hook onto, or flay, hook. Marin's going to tank the tower. And if you see this communication, he's like, he goes in, Marin goes in so far. And normally you wouldn't want to do this, but his hop is still up, and I would have to bet you that he's communicating like tanking, hop up, I can tank, like further. And he's able to get away safely. If you see, SKT lost nothing for that play because Bang can wave clear with the Corki pick, and Bengi's in mid applying pressure. Faker roams back mid, and everything is fine for SKT. Let's see. Well, that is not what I wanted to see. Sorry, Faker. If I point out to you guys, we see right there, GE Tiger's vision is very concentrated around the mid lane because they know that if Faker gets going with his roaming, that they're done for. And so that's something really cool about how SKT are playing. They're working around those mid lane wards by going like elongated pass or through the lane and making plays with Faker and Peekaboo still, despite the fact that GE have control of the mid lane vision. One other thing I want to note is that SKT aren't super keen about like pushing their pressure advantage into getting towers, and that's something I like. This was a really cool play. Peekaboo just hid in the bush. GE thought it was only Bang there, and Peekaboo was able to make a play as GE went in. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. SKT don't focus on early towers at all. They just don't. They probably could, in essence, push down towers really hard. Instead, especially in the top lane, they just keep the top lane tower up. That makes Smeb have to go back up there to keep farming or defending. And by doing this, SKT are able to dive Smeb multiple times in the top lane, setting him really far behind and getting Faker ahead. Now, if we look here, Bengi is again looking to control vision around this bottom half of the jungle. However, like Lee and Gorilla are there, so SKT aren't really going to be able to get much out of that for right now. Let's see. Okay. We're just going to skip ahead then. Okay. So the first tower goes down for SKT, which is fine. Bot tower, opening up bot tower for SKT is pretty good because there's no way that with the Morgana they're really going to be able to dive that at all. But we see that SKT have pressure advantage mid, and Smeb is pushed up a little far. So they're going to send Bengi, Peekaboo, and Faker up top to dive Smeb yet again and get another kill. You can see that they're spotted out by this pink ward, but it doesn't even matter because of how quickly SKT can roam. Faker is able to get the chain onto Smeb, locks him up. Peekaboo helps with locking him up too, and Bengi comes in for the kill with the snowball. And despite this, SKT do not stick around at all for the tower. They just recall. Technically, in that exchange, GE did get the better end of it because they were able to get a tower out of that, while SKT only got that kill. But considering SKT are relying on a heavy pick composition and need to snowball LeBlanc, that's a pretty important play. So after this, we kind of just see Faker kind of showing his mid lane dominance against Kuro. There's not much going on until about the 16-minute mark. SKT are coordinating everyone because they know Dragon's going to come up soon. They're trying to coordinate everybody to get vision. And we see right now they got a nice line of vision in GE Tiger's red side jungle. They're going to be sweeping out vision, playing around that swept out vision. Now, Marin returns to split push the top lane, whereas Smeb walks down with the teleport. So, Smeb is looking to save that teleport, get in on the dragon fight, and yeah. So, here's an important play for SKT that they kind of mess up. Like, SKT's play was not perfect during this game in any sense. And here's one case of why. So, SKT have Marin teleport down here. Now, if we look, Marin's Gnar bar is only halfway full at this point. And if we see, Dragon isn't really that close to getting down either. Now GE immediately disengages off of the dragon because they're kind of scared of the Gnar. But Gnar immediately hops out. He gets caught by the Dark Binding. And right when he hops out, that's when Peekaboo and Faker decide to go in. Peekaboo, Faker, and Bengi. So there's a case of miscommunication between the members of SKT right here. Bang, if you see, is all the way up here. So we have Corki, Gnar, Faker just went in and went back out, and then everybody else. So we have this massive range between the AD carry and the rest of GE, and we have this range between, and not quite yet, Mega Gnar and the GE Tigers. So ideally, what seemed to have happened communication-wise was Marn was teleporting in. Peekaboo kind of thought, oh, he's teleporting in, he's going to hop in and Gnar ult. And so he went in. But instead, Marn was not even close to being Mega Gnar. He hops out and everybody else goes in for SKT. And when we see this happen, we see that GE Tigers get 2 kills and come out of that trade ahead. However, GE isn't able to get anything off of this because Megatar still pressures. Faker just heads mid to start pressuring the tower and then comes back to pressure the dragon, and GE aren't able to get anything out of it. Smeb decides to teleport to mid lane just to stop Faker from pushing, and now they know that Smeb does not have teleport. I see at this point, GE actually have massive vision advantage. They have double pinks here, so they're really trying to stop SKT from roaming in on Smeb because the tower is still up, and they've been able to clear out all of SKT's vision from the Dragon Pit. So that's pretty important to note. However, all of that vision pressure isn't going to matter, and they have the double pink wards right there as well. So GE in this sense are set up really well for vision control around Dragon and around the mid lane, the 2 places that they need it most, because they want to take those early dragons and they want to prevent Faker from snowballing even harder. Now here's the thing. GE right here decide to have Smeb go and get that wave off of the tower. You can see that none of their main ultimates are even close to being up. So SKT, knowing that Smeb's teleport is down and he's showing the top lane, this allows them to fully engage on this dragon. They still have Mega Gnar, they still have Corki, and Corki ult's always up, and they still have Threshold. So SKT are in a better position right here to take the dragon. Faker also chunked out Kuro, so there was really no ideal way that GE could contest the dragon, and that puts GE massively behind because their comp is focused around taking these early dragons. So with that, SKT take the dragon, and then from here, what they want to focus on is creating picks due to clearing out GE's vision and maintaining superior vision control in order to turn this into objectives. Well, we see SKT roam up from the dragon, they go out of the pit, they gain vision control, and they clear out all of GE Tiger's vision in here, and they have this minion wave hitting the mid lane tower. So if they can create a pick right now, that translates into an easy tower for SK Telecom. And you see here, Gorilla's going in to try and check on the vision, and only gets saved because of Prey's nicely timed ult. With that, they didn't know where Leah is, so not hard pushing the mid lane is a good idea. They send Bang down bottom to split push as Faker pushes in the mid lane. And right now, they have pressure advantage across all 3 lanes. Marin is ahead, Faker is massively ahead, and bot lane has the pressure with the jungle being there, while Lee is all the way up in the top side, thinking about making plays onto Marin that realistically aren't going to happen. Faker has gone missing at that point, and okay, so GE have noticed that Faker has gone missing at this point, and you saw again, Faker used this very long movement pattern from the mid lane to avoid GE's ward slash, scuttle crab. So that's really good. GE recognized that this tower is low, Smeb is getting pushed in by Marin, and Faker's missing. And Peekaboo they'll see Peekaboo on his way as well, I believe. So they decide to send Gorilla and Lee up top to counter gank Faker and Marin's dive potential / try and protect the tower for a bit longer. You can also see Prey down in the bottom side of the map. Faker, I believe they spot Faker at that point, but they decide to stop Prey from recalling. Gorilla and Lee wait in this bush. Marin's going to start going at the tower. They take it, and then Lee and Gorilla continue to chase. This I kind of don't agree with. They probably should have just disengaged. Instead, they ult in with Lee. Gorilla comes in and ults. Smeb ults. 3 ults for what's going to end up in a 1-for-1 trade. You can also see that SKT used this opportunity for Bang and Peekaboo to rotate mid and start pushing down this tower. And Prey is starting to push up alongside here. So as the trade happens, we're going to see SKT have already gotten 1 mid lane tower. They also have enough minions here and pressure that they're going to get another tower. Prey is unable to get anything out of this, and GE are going to end up with a 1-for-1 kill trade and top outer tower for 2 outer towers and an inner tower for SKT. Now I see Faker recalling, and this is really good as well. Bangi sits here in bottom lane and eats spears from Prey, kind of delaying Prey from backing. He does what would technically be an overextension. Prey is going to keep chasing after him, getting spears into him. And what Faker does is he just comes in and kills Prey. Well, Bangi kills Prey with the massive help of Faker. So there's another assist racked up onto Faker. And at this point, he's 2-0-4 against the 0-1-3 of Kuro. Faker is so massively ahead. And another thing that's good about the SKT's vision is they don't really concentrate vision around Baron. Yes, they have the ward there, and they have the defensive pink ward there. But other than that, their main control is the GE's red side of the map. And why this is they know GE have no possible way of killing a Baron at this stage in the game. And they're using Faker to push out mid lane while having Corki, Thresh, and Bangi kind of mainly Peekaboo and Bangi stay around the red side jungle, maintaining vision control, while Corki waves clear mid, meaning GE, there's no possible way for them to push it. And then Marin split pushes in the top lane. So this is a really nice 1-3-1 push from SKT. Abusing that vision control around GE's red side jungle to where it's possible for them to make picks and quickly push down objectives. Okay, that's really all for now, so we're gonna skip ahead. I believe in this time, we missed the dragon. Here we go. Here was a fight that I want to detail. Peekaboo gets caught out by Kuro and Lee. Marin is not there, so he needs to teleport in. If you look this time though, Marin is much closer to Naring out. Peekaboo gets caught. Bangi is able to zone the rest of the 3 members of GE, Bang is off to the side. He's far enough away from Gorilla and Prey where he's not in any harm. Kuro has used his ultimate like once now, once now. So he's gonna go in towards Faker. Bangi takes off, and so does Bang. Marin is able to zone out the rest of GE, and they're able to just focus down individual members of GE and win that fight. 1-for-3 trade, or 3-for-1 trade. Faker, again, always being really active around the map, and knowing he doesn't have to contribute anything to the dragon, immediately heads to the top lane to start pushing in that tower and gain vision control starting near the Baron. Because at this point, SKT have dragon and dragon's off the table. The only possible tower that they can get is bot inner right now, and they can feasibly do Baron. So what SKT are going to transition into right now is they're going to be opting to get vision control around Baron to make picks with the Thresh and the LeBlanc in order to try and capitalize on either getting towers or getting Baron and transitioning that into even more towers. With the recalling members of GE coming up, Faker opts not to kind of push in that top tower, but instead just goes and recalls there. So you can see again, Peekaboo getting caught. Bangi is able to zone those three from Bang. Marin goes in as well, zoning those three members even further as the rest of SKT is able to just kill Kuro. And the only reason Gorilla gets out is because Prey is able to save him. Yep, thank you Monte Cristo for emphasizing my point. Okay. So if you see now, the main warning members of SKT, Bangi, and Peekaboo, they're just completely clearing out vision around this Baron bit and warding it up so that SKT have full control. You see Faker kind of just chilling here right now, trying to bait out any picks and make picks with the LeBlanc over the wall. Peekaboo is able to land a hook onto Gorilla, but there's no possible follow-up due to the black shield. They want to contest this blue buff, but it's not really possible considering SKT's positioning. Even so, they have Marin in the top lane just pushing out the wave, and the rest of SKT just controlling the vision insanely well around the Baron pit. GE feasibly can't check or try and clear any vision around there right now because they have zero pressure to do so. And you can see that SKT just alternate members who are pushing up the mid and top waves. Marin will push up the top wave. They'll send Faker to push out the mid wave. Bangi gets caught, but a Thresh Lantern means it's no problem. Faker heads to the bottom half of the map in order to push that bottom inner tower. And SKT are kind of just satisfied with their vision control. GE are going to be able to get some of that vision back because they can't really pick off anybody right now. And they are going to get the mid lane tower, but Faker trades for the bottom inner tower, and at the rate at which he can kill towers right now, it means GE have to back off and let SKT recontrol that vision around the Baron. Otherwise, they're going to lose an inhibitor turret. I mean, there's no feasible way that GE can actually go for this Baron right now. Doing so would kind of be suicide for them. So SKT are just kind of waiting them out, letting Faker push along the bot side of the map until GE sends the members they need to down to stop the pressure occurring. And if you see, like, GE, when they need to send people to recall, they have to send people in waves, because otherwise they can't send everybody back at once. Otherwise they just completely give up pressure. But you see, like, recalls are coordinated amongst these teams pretty heavily so that they can get the most out of their maintaining pressure while still backing and getting core items and whatnot, which is something we don't do. We don't coordinate recalls at all. We just are kind of like, oh, well, I have enough for this item. I'm just going to recall right here. We don't think about like what the pressure looks like around the map and why we can recall when we're doing so, or why we shouldn't recall when you are. So again, SKT are back to this pick around the Baron. Faker makes a pick onto Gorilla, who gets a little greedy with his warding, and SKT are immediately able to go for that Baron. And GE can't contest this because otherwise they're just going to get picked off again by Faker, as they're potentially going to get picked off by Faker again as they try to move back into the Baron area. Granted, Faker stays to help out with the Baron more so than Zone, but GE don't have any knowledge of this because SKT has completely smothered the vision around that area. If you can see, SKT are really split on that fight, so it's good that they choose to disengage right after. Let's see. Now the thing that I did want to note is that SKT, after they've got the Baron, after they've got the next dragon, no, he doesn't need the Ignite Doa. Yes, no. Not at all. But SKT don't really press this Baron advantage as much as hard as I feel like they could. They have Faker going back to the bot lane to split. No one on GE can 1v1 him, especially not Gorilla. Gorilla would just flat out die. And they have Marin go into other lanes. So they kind of use the 1-3-1 again, but it just seems like they don't push out that advantage as hard as they could. They're going to gain control of the dragon, and they're going to take the dragon. You can skip ahead. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Let me make sure I'm recording. Okay, good. If I was not recording by the hearing, I would not be a happy person. But they take this dragon, and you can see that they're not really pressing their advantage that hard. They're mainly, which is understandable, because GE kind of needs SKT to opt into team fights against them in order to get back into this game. And SKT are denying them that opportunity. But at the same time, it also feels like SKT just in general aren't pushing their advantage as hard as they could. They could pay having Bang in a more utilized position, clearing waves more mid lane instead of just walking around the jungle in between lanes. So that's an area where I feel like SKT could have pushed harder. And you see that they still have the top inner tower up, so they put pressure on all three lanes and then rotate everybody up to that top tower and are just flat out able to take it. Meanwhile, Faker still tries and kills people, further keeping up that pressure around the map. This was honestly kind of like a sloppy fight from SKT. They still come out ahead, or maybe just even, because yeah, Kuro has started to become that late game Kassadin. He gets one kill. He should get another kill. Oh wait, he got the kill onto Peekaboo and to Marin, so he got a double kill there. Yeah, Marin did get caught out a lot. Thank you, Monte Cristo. So taking that, like, focusing so hard onto that tower was a little bit of a blunder by SK Telecom. They didn't really need to. Even so, though, SKT aren't in any position of worry. They've got a solid lead right here. And this is what I was talking about, like SKT not opting into pressing that Baron as much, because something like that could happen. But right now SKT are so far ahead that it doesn't even matter. We're just going to start skipping ahead a bit. And now SKT are again opting into this 1-3-1. Using that advantage, they're trying to just rotate players throughout in order to clear out inhibs. And then, oh man, we're just going to see Faker completely explode Gorilla here in a second. Well, we're going to see it later. Gorilla's dead. What happened there? Faker W'd over the wall, double Q'd, and just completely killed Gorilla. And what that does, SKT makes a pick, and they're able to get towers and inhibitors for it. Really, there's nothing else to glean from this game, because SKT are pretty much going to get all 3 inhibs. They're going to back off, and then they're going to regroup and just flat out win the game. So, yeah, that's my VOD review about SKT versus GE Tigers.